your back window, it's going to mess with years and years of muscle memory on how you've learned how to drive a car. So you could get a Cybertruck as your first car. Don't do that. And if you got any other car that wasn't a Tesla in the future, you're a little bit screwed, and vice versa. Another good example I can think of, it's like how Apple would always have like chargers that were the lightning cables, not the USB-C. I mean, thankfully in Europe, it's USB-C for everything now. Thank God for that. But it's these steps that companies make to lock you into only sticking to them, because they add little changes that seem beneficial, and then as soon as you go to another product, it just seems like hugely cumbersome and a waste of time. Now, Tesla have also been marketing self-driving, which is a pretty new feature among most recent cars. Basically, you could sit on the road, relax, while the car basically just drives itself for you. It's a little bit scary. I know in some countries the legislations have it so the car basically has to beep if you're not driving for like a couple of minutes or so, you know, just to keep your hands on the steering wheel, because fully self-driving, it's probably not a perfected technology yet, but fortunately, you can't actually do self-driving with the Cybertruck, because I could imagine that would be the biggest lawsuit imaginable. There would be a lot of fatalities. Now, it does have a traffic-aware cruise control. Cruise control obviously being when you lock in a certain speed, and it basically maintains that speed. But this feature on the Cybertruck does still require manual steering input, but it can also follow the car ahead of you at a safe distance. But obviously, it's nowhere near the same as actual full automatic driving. But again, other cars do this. Other cars have like manually assisted cruise control where you still need to steer and add input to the car, and they're a lot cheaper than the Cybertruck. Now, one thing I found out about the Cybertruck, which is very weird, obviously it's shilling to be a truck from the future. So why is it that Tesla basically say that you have to hand wash the car yourself, and they have stipulated that if you take this thing through a car wash, that will totally void your warranty. You've got to spend all day like caressing the Cybertruck. Elon Musk puts in a new stipulation: you need to kiss it 5 times a day or you also void the warranty. Now, throughout the whole first half of the year, Elon has been getting into quite a lot of spicy drama. I mean, I could list everything the guy's done. When he smoked weed on Joe Rogan and that like tanked Tesla's stock price, his takes on Twitter. He then got pulled into a class action lawsuit over racial discrimination, which is obviously a very messy case, and it really doesn't look good for him, including the fact that he's known to have a pretty toxic work culture at Tesla. I'll be honest, Elon is someone I would love to meet, but I feel like I would also be absolutely terrified of him as well. I even remember this one small story of how he had an assistant, and this assistant asked for a raise, and he went out of his way to prove that he didn't need an assistant just to fire her. So he's quite intimidating. So let me introduce to you Jahan Jones. Now, he's a reporter for MSNBC, and he covers futuristic multimedia, and he basically wrote this whole article on the amount of recalls that Tesla Cybertruck is going to have is going to be a huge hit to the company. To make matters worse, he's recently been begging investors to pay his $56 billion buyout. Obviously, $1 billion is a lot of money, an unimaginable amount of money to most people. I don't need to explain it, but here is a quick visualization of what $1 billion looks like. Now, to give a bit of context to billionaires as well, because I feel a lot of people miss out on this point. People like, you know, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, they're billionaires, very, very incredibly rich billionaires, but most of them don't actually have their money in their bank account as tangible funds. They have it more in stocks in the companies that they own. And one thing that the super rich actually do to avoid paying tax completely is actually taking loans out from the bank to buy things. And obviously, when you take a loan out, you need to pay interest, right? You're not just paying the equal amount of money back, you're paying